Okay, I believe I did say I have the best transducer setup in the state. And I don't even think I specified trailer boat either. So I've made quite a claim there, but I guess I'm here to back it up. I'm Kurt Wilson, born and bred WA. Grew up down south in Dunsborough. So we're sitting in my boat at the moment. It's a 21 Contender, about 2010 era. And recently been focusing on the electronics. Getting them up to scratch was the first task, and then beyond that tried to pretty much turn it into the best sounder transducer combo that can go in a small trailer boat. I had two 175 flush mount through hulls installed. After the Simrad 16, it just seemed like the natural way to go. You hear really good reports, but the image, I guess, wasn't what I expected or wanted. Quite a bit of noise through there. Being a Sparky, I sort of went down the electrical avenue and tested everything. You know, I tried to see if there's any engine noise in it. I reran cables. I went offshore with a transducer cable running out the bilge hatch direct to the unit, and in the end I sort of got fed up and got a GoPro on a pole and filmed the bottom of my boat. So that sort of indicated pretty easily that bubbles were just crushing the transducer, and you're just seeing that straight on the screen. So I started looking into the fairing block route, a lot of options. I was a bit cautious. I'd already drilled 2 giant holes in the bottom of my boat. I didn't want to make a third. Spoke to a lot of people. What I was primarily worried about if I wanted to install it in the keel was interference to the motor. Didn't seem like many people had actually committed to that. And if they had, quite shallow, you're talking about like a 30 mil drop down, and some of these beautiful like glass fed, they look amazing, but if you watch the footage of the transducers in the bottom, it just looked like the bubbles would flow over this the same as they would a flush mount. So my idea was to keep the MR high-speed fairing block, stick it right in the middle, and drop it as low as I guess practical. I didn't want the bubbles to flow. I wanted to disturb the bubbles. So I found a shipwright in Bustleton who did that, and I did everything else electrical. Reran transducer cables, basically reran the power system to be completely separate from anything on the engine, batteries on a DC to DC charger, pretty much anything that I could think of, especially when I was trying to sleep. I lost plenty of sleep over it. So had that installed. It's got an 85 mil drop down right in the keel. The theory with putting it in the keel is bubble and air are going to ruin any transducer image, and what's the furthest place from air? It's the keel. So had it installed, and yeah, instantly the image is like amazing, just absolutely amazing. And I think the first time I went out, we held bottom, no problems, 500 meters, and we held it at 22 knots offshore in some pretty average conditions. So I don't think I've seen many screenshots of people doing that. So yeah, I reckon I stand by that claim. We went out today to do a little run and yeah, I guess talk about the electronics in this, catch some fish while we're at it. The weather was looking promising. I think I made the mistake of thinking we were going to have a glass off today. So we tried for some tailor early, for nada, and then went out to try and I guess look at the sounder, look at some deep water, see if we can mark up some fish. We currently have the demersal ban on at the moment, so chasing dewies, snapper, out of the question. So tried to find some Samson fish on some wrecks out in the Rottnest graveyard. So I've dragged the captain boys out. Probably a little further than they were expecting. I think we're about 20, 25 miles off the coast. We got a plus 2 metre swell running in from the southwest and about a 10 knot easterly hitting that. That was on land. I'm out here and I reckon there might be a bit more on it than than 10 knots. So some challenging conditions. So we're out at a place, they call it the Rottnest graveyard, and it's basically an area southwest of Rottnest where in the 50s or 60s, I guess they mandated that that's where a lot of ships had to be scuttled. So there's everything out here from whalers, barges, old fishing ships. I believe one of them's a frigate. And at certain times of the year, they hold masses of Samson fish. And this is pretty much where the Samson jigging craze started in Perth, probably about 20 years ago. It's a great test for sounders. You're trying to mark up fish at the bottom 100 metres of water, trying to find ground, which is exactly what we're trying to do now. So we've got some good returns here, and we'll set up a drift and drop a jig down. As I was saying before, this is a wreck. It's an unknown wreck. I don't actually know what this is. It holds sandbows, and what I'm doing here to find it is I've still got my high frequency up. It's a really large cone angle. It's pretty much up all the time. Great for spotting fish mid-water. And then on the right, I'm actually running my low chirp through the low side of the transducer. Just at that 100 meters, this is where it's going to come into its own. Plenty of power. It's going to allow me to mark up fish. And I'm just fishing it on a custom depth range. You know, a lot of times when we look at the sounder, you're probably only looking at 0 to 30 meters. So I sort of set the bottom to that same range, just so you have a bit of a visual reference and of what you're fishing. So it looks like we're coming into it now. So that's our wreck, normally where you drive straight to and fish. You can see some bait, what looks like bait on top of it, but the fish that we're catching are up here. We're looking at sort of 30 meters away, and you'll note that they're on a flatter ground. So the school of fish is hanging off the side of the wreck. You can see here we're getting a bit of a better return. Some reds in there. Like anything like that down in 100 meters is worth a drop to me. Well, we've got jigs down to where the fish are, so I reckon I missed them. No, I didn't miss them. In terms of what can affect the quality of your image from your transducer, one of the things that we had an autopilot pump, which was giving a bit of electrical interference. You'd notice, you'd hear the autopilot pump come on and you'd see this line of interference. So electrical's one, but I think electrical issues are sort of often misdiagnosed. 90% of the time, and especially with all the work done on this, it's air. It's seemingly air every single time, especially on a transom mount. And that's something that was really interesting from that image under the boat. Is not many people, and neither did I, knew how difficult it is to get a clean image there. You bubbles everywhere. I'm surprised you read bottom at all. I did everything electrical. There's nothing else I could have done, and I would say that the fairing solved 90–95% of it. It's sort of funny to think that you've got these amazing, especially like in this boat, you've got these amazing sounders. You know, I've got a sonar module up to 3 kilowatts, and the thing that made it all work was a big piece of plastic. So something like this, the top speed that I'd read bottom before it starts breaking up, probably around that 30, 38, 40 knots. Where it really shines is if I run out offshore, I'm doing 30 knots, I'll mark bait in 100 meters clean as. The image in a day realistically doesn't change from 1,000 meters to 10 meters. And that's what's special about it. In a small trailer boat, my opinion is trolling is the most challenging environment for a transducer. You're slow speed, you're not planing, especially in WA, it's rough. you can have something that reads at 30 knots and it won't read trolling, and that's what happened here, and that was what I really tried to nail. And yeah, that 8 knot speed, if you can mark bait at 8 knots, you're doing well. That's the goal.